go. Okay, well, welcome back to the Gambling Dads podcast. Just a couple of housekeeping things to start off here. First we started with the podcast, but I don't think we really got into why we named it the Gambling Dads, and there's not really much behind it. We started, I think we wanted to call it the BS podcast. So B for
It
Beal.
was taken, wasn't it?
And it's kind of taken. We saw someone else. Not that they were electric or had anything. I don't think they have a big handle, but we don't want to stomp on someone else's stuff. And then what we said, deplorable dads. That was one you liked for a while, and then I decided.
I never liked deplorable dads. I never once. I thought it was garbage.
You're the one who said deplorable dads.
You were loving it.
No, and then
it was something else with the D, something cheesy.
No, dapper dads is the one I liked. You like deplorable.
Then I'm like,
dads.
We're not dapper. So why would we be dapper
You're
dads?
not dapper.
And then I said not.
I
would say semi-dapper dads, which I don't think is a bad name.
Yeah, but it's just not catchy. Anyhow,
and then it's so catchy. Semi-dapper dads, gambling dads.
Anyways, then we went to gambling dads, and just
you went to gambling dads.
And then we went to gambling dads, and then but that's what I want to make clear is it's not like it's just a gambling podcast, and or a dad's podcast for that matter. We're going to kind of touch on anything. Our biggest.
Yeah, but just
go ahead.
Sorry, go on. Can I cut in for 1 sec?
Well, let me say one more thing, and then you can go.
Okay.
So our biggest motivation, I think, was to flesh out the idea that we have for this TV series. But we wanted to make it generic too, because we're probably going to be talking after the TV series either does its thing, or if we flame out and we don't get anywhere with it. Go ahead.
We're not really going to have anything to talk about. No, I was just going to say the gambling comes into, like, because you were calling like we gamble in life and stuff like that too. So it wasn't just referring to gambling as in on sports, right?
Right, gambling on relationships, gambling on gambling on drinking too much, all kinds of stuff like that, but stuff like that. But the idea is, but what we decided, I think, though, is that we're going to push any gambling talk to the end of the podcast, so that if you like gambling, great, stick around to the end. We'll talk a little bit. We might have some juicy picks for you. But if you don't like gambling, just cut it off at that point. So that's kind of, I think.
Then they're going to miss the best part, the sign off.
They might, yeah. We might have to clip one without the gambling and one with. Anyways, once we learn how to edit a bit better.
We haven't edited anything.
No. Why would you? That's.
I know, but I mean, like, why would you say better?
Well, it was kind of the joke. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on quickly, because I thought it was hilarious, is like when we talked about TV in the room last time, and. It's funny, you kind of live your life with a TV in your room, and you don't for a second think that anyone lives without a TV in their room, or that there's any other way to live without a TV in your room. And then and even you mentioning it last week, but it did seem like there was a good chunk of people on your side of like no TV in the room.
I have got nothing but positive responses on the TV out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
The only one is Pekka was a losing battle, because he texted me and he said, I'm with you with the TV not in the bedroom, but I lost that battle.
Well, and I think it stems, I mean, for me, I got a TV in my room as a teenager, right? So that was a big deal when you're a teenager to be able to kind of watch TV in your room. We had huge deal. We had a black and white TV back in the day that I would watch the Leaf games in our little den. And then I got a nice like 28-inch TV in my room. That was color, and it was, that was a game changer for me. And the rest is history.
TV in there ever since.
Yeah, the rest is history. I've never not had a TV. And the beauty about that too is those TVs, they last forever. Like anyone saying, "Oh, I don't want to spend money on a TV," I think TVs are one of the best investments in the world on account of it's $1,000, but it lasts for like 20 years, and you watch it a good chunk of the day.
Do you know how huge that statement is?
I knew you'd love that.
TVs are one of the best investments in the world.
Well, it's one of the more utilized things that you have. Like, so that's what I mean is like people maybe get up in arms about spending $700 or $800 on a TV. Yeah, you have that TV for the next 10, 15 years. And then typically you pass it down to another family member, and they have it for another 10 years.
So you basically, before we started the podcast, told me you kind of wanted to take control of the start of the
Wow,
podcast.
this has gone a little bit further than I wanted to.
The reason you wanted to take control of the podcast was so that you could talk TVs
for 20 minutes long. Yeah,
that's crazy.
No, that was like, it was supposed to be a small subsection, but then you piped in it and it got crazy. Yeah, of course.
Well, am I supposed to not talk? Was it supposed to be you take over the start and I don't say anything?
I take over the whole thing. Yeah, that's where it's headed. No. But
I do think you're an incredibly funny man, though. So I love hearing
whatever.
I'm always sincere with you.
I know I don't take compliments well, if you haven't noticed.
I've noticed even last podcast you didn't.
Stream of consciousness stuff, and then so
we just do at the same time.
Did we?
We just jinxed it. Okay, what were you gonna say?
And then we talked a little bit. We touched on the agate, but we used to put the sports pages together for newspapers, which was standings and box scores, and for papers all across Canada.
Can I cut in for 1 second?
Sure.
On this, I was going to say the last podcast when you said it, I feel like people that didn't know us, like from when we worked that era, they were all thinking we were standing on an assembly line, like putting newspapers together and passing them on. They didn't realize we wrote sports, or we organized sports pages for papers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think we glossed over it a bit much. It's like,
yeah, and I don't think people would even know what we really did. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, go on. Sorry, I just wanted to.
No, it's okay. Even the people that that know us might not know what we did, but yeah, the standings and box score pages, that those pages in the back of newspapers, we used to do that for papers across Canada. And that's, I'm leading to one of the funny jokes is like, you had to work late at night. So you'd get a paper in Ottawa, and then you'd get maybe Saskatchewan, and you'd get like a Vancouver. So you'd have to hit deadlines throughout the night, but it would keep you there till 2 a.m, right? You'd have to wait till all the games are done and hit that late Vancouver deadline. So one night, Mr. Beal here, he came.
I didn't know I was in this story.
I'm
excited. I'm ready for this.
Exactly. So
do I get to add to it, or do I just get to sit here and treat myself?
So why don't I just?
No, I want to. I'm excited to listen to the story. I just hope it doesn't expose me too much.
No. It was. You'll know this once I get into it. So there's a night that Mr. Beal came in and his car was broken down. He always seems like his cars always seems to be breaking down. Let's be honest.
Who, me?
Back in the day?
Oh, I can't even remember. I didn't even know I was driving then. You mean, so when we were down by Mac, or were we at the downtown?
I can't remember where we were. So
anyways,
what he means by that, I think, is we were once in the Spectator building, and then we were actually down near McMaster, the building where we actually worked. But anyhow,
go on with your story.
The moral or the fact of the story is your car was broken down, and we couldn't go and get it fixed. So we ended up going there late night at like 2 a.m. because I had a CAA membership and you didn't.
Oh yeah.
Now you remember.
Okay, but it wasn't broken down. Okay, sorry, to get the story right. You're right, that Cutlass Sierra always broke down. But, or not the Cutlass Sierra, it was a Chevy Impala I had. But it was when we worked at the Agate. Okay, so we had to go after, but the car broke down at my day job in Burlington, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't in Hamilton.
You came in.
It's broken down twice with us, so.
Well, hey, go on. It's broken down twice, and then the one day you drove us to the airport and it was all smashed up and you couldn't even see through the window, which was like, that was scary. Anyways, that's another story for another day.
Okay, go on.
But this one, as I said, I had CAA because you didn't know, like, what are you going to do? You're going to pay $300 to get this thing towed. So we said, well, at the end, when we're done work tonight, we'll drive out there, we'll sit in the car, and we'll say that I was driving with you.
And it was freezing, right?
It was cold, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, luckily we were in my car, but
well, yeah, we weren't on our feet. Okay,
we were okay. We were okay, folks. Don't worry, we were okay. But the part was, we get there and you call, and of course the CAA, so it's like it's an hour-long wait. So we're sitting there going, what are we gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So then we decide to go get some pizza.
Didn't we order delivery, or did we go get?
No,
No, we went and got it.
went and got it in because that's part of the story here.
I'm really contributing to this story, apparently. Sorry, go on.
I
No,
apologize.
I mean I'm ruining it, is what I'm saying. So I'm
No,
just
no,
gonna let
no.
you talk.
Well, it's misremembering, right? Half the time you can't remember what we did yesterday. So,
Yeah.
so
Okay, go
that,
on.
and there might be some embellishment in the story as well. Not yet. There's going to be, but so then we went to this pizza place, and it was like a pizza, however far out, and we ordered
Yeah.
pizza, and it was great. But then I think when we left, Brad was like, "Did that guy know you? Did he know you?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, did he know you?" So we started like going back and forth about that.
You
And
and I.
yeah. It
Okay.
just the joke of it is that like pizza with this random pizza, because I like pizza. I eat a lot of pizza. Let's be honest. We don't
Loves pizza.
loves pizza, and him saying that, and I wouldn't say I got offended, but it was kind of quite comical. And then
So you were borderline offended?
well, and then I think I later told you a story of I've been out where I was at Lime Ridge Mall on the patio, and a pizza guy came in and he recognized me there. Or uh, there's a time where me and Quade went to a pizza shop in Westdale there, and Quade left his toque there. And the next time the guy delivered to our house, he
He brought
delivered
the
us a
toque, didn't
toque
he?
because he knew who we were, which means he knew exactly where my house was. So
Yeah.
I ordered so much that they know me when. Then they not only know me when I come
Oh,
in, they know where I live.
I've got a story to play off that. I
There
want
you
I want
go.
to go back to this,
Please
but
do.
okay, am I totally killing it?
No, I feel like I took up too much of the time, and you're
No,
making
you
me feel
didn't.
like
I
I
just
took
have
up
a
too much
funny
time.
story, a bit creepier of a story to play with that. I took
Creepy.
pictures in once to Walmart to have developed, or Carmen's, one of the two. Anyways, it's when I was in college, and the person who developed them, I worked at the pub at college at night and in the day, and this was in the day. They brought me back the pictures at school,
That
which
is
is
weird.
wild, isn't it?
That is strange. You must have.
Yeah, like I wouldn't know the person, and they actually brought the pictures to me at school because they knew I worked there
They
and
know
brought
who
me the
you
picture.
were.
Yeah, which is super crazy. But
Was it a girl or a guy, or does it matter? Doesn't matter.
it was a girl. So another story.
Maybe she had a huge crush. I don't
Why would we talk about that on the air? Come on.
know.
I've got I've got a story. No, I don't have a story, but something to say about the car theatrics that we got into at work. Do you
Yeah,
remember the one time I went and I needed washer fluid, so I got what I thought was washer fluid. I don't know if it was antifreeze oil or something,
it was
but I put it
transmission
in,
fluid, I think.
wasn't it? Yeah, and I put it in the washer, and so I paid Matt Young $20 to sit in the parking lot and drain it out while we were in at the office.
Oh, I didn't know you did that. That's funny.
Yeah. Best 20
That's
bucks
wild.
I ever spent. Now that is a well spent $20, like much like you say about the TV.
Much like I say about the TV. And so, yeah, so that's a good start to that. And as I was mentioning, that's kind of the pizza through line that there's going to be here going into maybe
Oh,
talk. Go on.
oh, you want to talk about the show then? Oh,
Yeah, like see,
this was a segue.
it's kind of a little bit of a
That's
segue.
see,
Brilliant, huh?
we supposedly don't have anything planned, but this sounds to me like DS had a little bit planned because that was a total segue. I was like, that's not even that great of a story. But if you're leading up to something, then it's brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so
And
let's hear it
and
then.
that kind of leads into, and that's kind of some of the story of maybe the first episode
Can
of Marshall's.
can we disclose the start, the pizza part, and then where you end up, and then how your relationship is? Can we reveal just those three pieces of the show?
We
Because it's
can
really the
reveal all
base.
kinds of things of the show. That's the
But
whole
if we
idea.
release those three things now, it's kind of amazing, and it's literally the basis of our whole series is based off three things: your love with the pizza, which we'll go into what you did to
And the
get
quest
where
and
you
the quest to
got.
make and the quest to make the perfect sauce.
Yeah. So, but I
Yeah.
haven't got there yet. I'm
Go
just
ahead.
saying we're gonna do the pizza. We're gonna do the where you ended up because of something you did wrong with the pizza, and then how your relationship came about in relation to where you ended up from what you did with the pizza.
Right. Exactly. So
Let's disclose that right now. Can that be our big
100%. That's it.
big topic
Look at how
right now?
excited you
Let's
are
talk
now.
about that.
First, he doesn't like that pizza
Well,
story,
I
and now
thought
he
the
loves it.
story was a little bit weak. I'm not gonna lie, but now it's like, so I'm gonna add to the story by saying DS loves pizza, like to the point where we'd play drinking games to guess how many slices of pizza we think he's had in his lifetime. Someone would have to guess a number, and then everyone else would go over and under the number they guessed for the amount of slices he's ate in his lifetime. Like, he loves pizza. So now it's good.
Allegedly.
This is great. So why don't we talk about those three things?
Exactly.
I'll let you steal the show. You can,
no. You can keep going. That was exactly right. So, well, and he's exactly right. So the premise of Think of the show that we're looking at is.
I'm just going to turn my volume up a bit. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay, go on. Go.
I would say that the premise, it kind of is The League meets like Curb Your Enthusiasm. If anyone's kind of watched those shows, we've got the kind of four main guys. One guy's loosely based after me. One guy's loosely based after Brad. One guy's loosely based after our friend Pekka, who we just mentioned there. And another's mentioned off our friend Bobby, who worked at the Agate too. Now, one thing we want to preface from the beginning as well is that these are exaggerations of these characters. So even if the character, it's not, it's not the person, we've kind of fleshed out.
We've made we've used their personality traits
to an extent, and then expanded it and or changed it, or it in no means actually is the person. It's just kind of suits the story as we go, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and so
let's talk about first. Okay, I just want to say one thing before we talk about those three things. Is before some of these things are revealed in this show, like we joked about on the last podcast, you always had odd jobs and stuff like that, right? Despite your career, you've always picked up odd jobs. Now in the show, you always have a bunch of odd jobs, and people kind of wonder why you always have odd jobs. You don't necessarily have a main job in it, you have a bunch of odd jobs. But the reason you always have odd jobs is because of what happened when you owned your own pizzeria first. That's led you to having the odd jobs.
Well, that and because you're striving to try and be a golf pro almost.
You want to be a golfer. Yeah.
So he's trying to get overnight jobs.
So that you can golf by day.
Yeah. And I would say the thread of the first season is that he's going to have a lot of jobs and get fired from a lot of jobs.
Oh, and can we also talk about, or not, we don't even have to talk about, just say who you have picked out to play you in the series.
Well,
is it going to be the guy from
Breaker High or whatever? That's
Breaker High.
That's my imagination of the person. I think he'd be someone like him, or maybe him. You never know. I haven't seen him do.
No, but someone like him, like kind of like bumbling and joyous.
Yeah, like so to talk about the characters that we're just talking there describing, like I would say your character is like a fit, well put together guy, and
that's nice.
Yeah, that's good. But like almost like what you would think of Bradley Cooper in those ones.
I feel like my head's like this.
Anyhow, right? Yeah. Well, you pumped my tires the first one, so.
Thanks,
and then mine is more like a lovable character who always kind of gets in trouble. He always does. Things just don't go his way, or as I like to say,
which is great.
A big cloud is always over his head, is the way I've always kind of position it. And then Pekka, I would say, is more like a straight and narrow guy, like a banker or something like that. But I'm not sure if
he's good with numbers, he's good with numbers.
And so he's someone that has lent me money for my quest to have the best pizza in the world. So he lent me money. So
the best sauce, isn't it? The best sauce.
Well, which would
make the best pizza,
but yeah,
clearly.
Yeah. And he's lent me money for that to be able to kind of so I owe him money basically in it. And then your
which is going to kind of linger throughout this series.
100%. Yeah. And you kind of your character is kind of new to the group of the four of us, but you own the house that I currently live in. So kind of a reversal of what we
reversal of real life.
Yeah.
And we've become super tight because of that, have we not?
Yeah, like, and that's
so even though I'm new, we've got this super tight.
You and I are tight, but you're kind of just getting into the group of the other two guys. That's the way I look at it, right?
And Bobby's going to be very similar to what he is. Like, he'll be philosophic, won't he, a little bit too?
Yeah, except I have him as someone who's like been a childhood friend of mine.
Yeah, so he's going to play younger than the role he actually.
Yeah.
But you can use like his character types are very
Well, we have him as
similar to our age group, and like his sense
we
of
have him
humor
as
and
a
personality.
person of color as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so which he isn't in real life, but my friend
Gotcha.
growing up was Jamaican, so it's kind of I think he's going to be kind of a mix of those two things together.
Okay.
Um,
Hybrid.
a
Hybrid.
hybrid. Yeah. So yeah, and some of it is the idea is me and the Bobby character um, are golf marshals, but we're friends with you guys, and hilarious ensues.
Yeah.
But
So,
go
so
ahead.
let's talk about the big three then. The big three things that we're going to talk about today about it.
Yeah, or do you want to get into like exactly how the first episode will go, or how do you want to?
If it seems like that's what you wanted to go with,
I don't care.
I really want to talk about those three things. I want to talk about what you were doing, how it got you in trouble, where you ended up,
Do it.
and how you ended up with your wife and kid.
Do
Like
it.
I think those three things would be great to talk about now. I think it'll draw everyone's interest because they'll be like, this is actually pretty damn
Okay, stop
good.
talking about doing it then and just do it.
Well, you tee it up.
No, no,
Do,
you've teed it up.
okay, well then correct me if I miss anything. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Okay, so the basis of the show is DS. Okay, he's married with a kid, much like real life. His wife semi hates him.
Totally hates him.
Dude, totally
which isn't like real life, and like
yeah, I was gonna say which isn't like real life, but I was gonna joke that it's semi like real life.
Well, and that's the whole thing is like
that's the joke. Anyways, Lisa
no one should take
so
no one should take any of the characters that were. That's what I was trying to preface before.
Yeah,
it's an exaggeration of everything. So
yeah, exactly. So, anyways, there's a reason why she totally hates him in it, and the reason is DS originally, before the series ever started,
so the backstory. Yeah.
The backstory is he owned a pizza joint and he was obsessed with coming up with the perfect pizza sauce for his pizzas, like obsessed. So he had ground up everything all over the place, was always, I guess you can't see my hands. Anyways, was always just trying to, just putting together perfect sauces, trying them out or whatever. So one of his sauce he came up with, made this pizza, sent it to a high-ranking official. Apparently, much like our politics, everything we do is American. So I'm assuming to a senator or something like that.
Well, my thought is the guy comes in. He's actually in the restaurant as the mayor. He's in the restaurant as the
Oh,
mayor.
you're calling mayor now? I thought he was going to be like a.
Oh, whatever. We can flush it out, right? Like I mean,
yeah.
That's
well,
why
we're doing all those notes you were hyping. We could see what you actually had written down.
Well, I have them, but yeah, but this is a lot of it's up here right now.
Okay, you take a bit of the story then.
No, that's good. Like, so yeah, in essence, there's a dignitary that comes in, maybe a mayor, maybe a senator, who knows? But he's in the restaurant, and I'm still jonesing to make this best sauce of all time. And one of my friends has come in. One of my friends earlier came in and gave me the best oregano, so I want to put that into the sauce. And so there's a baggie of oregano off to the side because I would always get fresh garden oregano to make sauces. And then one of my friends also came in with a fresh bag of weed. And so in the episode, and it's crazy because in Canada it's legal, but a lot of places it wasn't. And I think people.
And when we wrote the series,
I know by the time it comes out,
by the time it's done, it's going to be like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, everyone else kind of like, what are you talking about?
We're just gonna, what we're gonna have to do? We're just gonna have to make it a heavier narcotic.
Yeah,
put on. You know what I mean?
Whichever, we'll figure it out. But I think you can go like 1975 in the storyline or whatever too, right? So it doesn't really matter.
So we've got sidetracked. I hope the listeners still kind of get where we're going. So basically, he sent him this pizza. It was weed instead of oregano on it. The guy got messed up by it, and it turns out DS ends up getting sent to jail for it.
Gets sent to jail for that, and then.
This is where the story gets really good. Can I tell this part? Because I love it.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's so good. Like, I love this part so much. So DS, because he's kind of bumbling, right? So when DS is in jail, his wife, who's not his wife at the time, he doesn't know her. She's obsessed with serial killers, right? Or people who have done hard time or whatever. So she's writing into the prison, right? Like writing letters to prison inmates that are in there on death row or in for life or whatever. I'm getting this right?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, So she's writing letters to she's writing letters. Well, somehow DS is getting the letters, so she thinks
Well,
she's
because it's
writing
about
them
my
like,
bunkmate. So he's writing to my bunkmate, and my bunkmate is a serial killer.
yeah. So she's thinking that she's writing this hardcore killer, but really she's writing a guy that's in there for just messing up a pizza sauce.
Well,
And
she
you've
is
been
she
writing her
is
back
writing
and
it to
forth.
him, but he can't read or write, so I'm writing back to her, and then yeah.
See, I didn't even get that. I thought I. Are you sure that's the best way to go about
Well, we
this?
can change it. There's no
I
just
just
because
okay.
we're
This
talking about it doesn't mean it's on the air right now.
okay. So this is how I viewed it. I'll tell you how I viewed it. You can change it. I viewed it as she's writing letters to what she thinks is a killer. DS is getting the letters regardless. He's writing her back as himself, but he doesn't realize she's writing a killer, and she doesn't realize that she isn't writing
That's
one.
fair. That's good too. I like that.
Long story short, that's how I envisioned it.
Maybe then it goes to me and I'm in cell block B4,
Yeah, it's like a
and the
different
kid and
cell.
the
Like
serial
it's
killer's in C4 or something, and
yeah, something because
it's
there's no
that's
sense you
funny.
writing them for him. Anyways, she
And
basically
he's
married.
got the same name. That's pretty good. I
Yeah,
like that.
and she marries him thinking that he's this serial killer. So when he gets out, the resentment starts immediately, and so that's why the relationship's super frayed. Is because she's thinking she's with this hardcore criminal, and she ends up with DS.
Oh, and by this time, I mean she's just cheating and like she doesn't like it's gone
It's
so
like they're not
south.
even together in it, even though they're together.
Yeah,
Because you're always out with us.
it's gone so far south. Like in my humble opinion, at the beginning, the like opening of the whole show will be her yelling, "Get the fuck out of the bed!" Like, and I'll be like just groggily waking up, and she's kind of yelling at me, "Get out of here! You're supposed to meet your idiot friends at the bar," something like
Yeah,
that.
she's right bitter. I didn't
And I
realize we were
got,
going to drop F bombs in the series or on this podcast like
I
that.
wondered if you think that, yeah, but
That's
I
bold.
threw it out there,
That's
yeah,
bold. You caught me by surprise.
yeah,
We'll
I
be like
wondered.
Mulaney.
Well,
Let's be like Mulaney.
you said
Let's
the
be like
S word before.
Mulaney though. Like not a whole lot of swearing.
Oh,
Just
I
like a
don't plan on swearing a ton, but
yeah, yeah. So
when
you
an
don't want
F
to
bomb's
overdo
needed,
it.
an F bomb's needed, and it was needed for that story.
Okay.
And
So that's the basis of the story. Really, it takes off from there.
yeah, and so that's the beginning, and then almost exactly like you said, you guys will be in the bar, kind of talking in the beginning. So the three of you will be chit chatting and be like, "Oh yeah, so you're just starting to," because you'll show up at the bar, which is kind of a bar restaurant, which is in the like this will be the morning or the daytime,
Yeah.
where me and Bob are going to be going out to golf marshals, but we're all catching just a lunch before we go out or whatnot. And so you three will be there first because I'll be behind time and late with the
As
wife
usual.
yelling at me, whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Apparently profanity.
yeah, profanity. Well, because it's a good beginning, I think.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Okay, that's fair. So
Um,
can we are you going to go more into it or can we leave it at that for now in terms of what we're going to talk about storylines, or do you want to say more? I can't believe we had different ideas for the letter writing. I thought we were bang
I think
on
it's
with
pretty
it.
close to the similar thing. I don't know why you think that's much different.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, the only thing that's different is I thought it doesn't much matter either. Either way, I think works, and we can figure that out as well. Why? That's all you want to talk about with the golf marshal that we're talking about?
No, we can talk as much as you want about it. I'm just like, people might want to hear different things. I don't know. It's up to you.
Go ahead. No, well, I was going to flesh it out to at least the first scene.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Go, go,
Right.
go. You can do the talking now. I don't know where you're going with it.
Well, so then you guys would be we kind of fleshed out a beginning already. So like you guys were in the bar. I come in late. You guys are actually already playing that game where one of you guesses how many slices of pizza I've had. One of you says some ridiculous number, and I come in going, "Come
Which is
on,
probably
guys."
close to the truth.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and no, that's all good. And I go, "Come on, guys, I don't eat that much pizza. You guys are being ridiculous," that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then Pekka's character goes, "Oh, really?" And he says something like, "I bet you, I'll bet you that if we go to your nearest 10 pizza places that are nearest to your house, that they'll know who you are and they'll know what kind of pizza you order," something like that. And I'd say, no chance, and you guys, and all you guys go, "Oh, I don't know about that," and we go, "Okay, well, what kind of bet? What are we going to do here?" And he'll say something like, "Well, I'll take $5,000 or $10,000. We could decide on the number off your debt. You won't owe me." And I said, oh, okay. Like, well, I get interested there now all of a sudden. And what do I have to do? Right. And he's like, well, you got that golf tournament coming up. You'll have to wear a dress for that golf tournament if you lose. So I obviously just say, yeah, let's do that. So that just kind of leads to the first
And then we
episode.
go from there.
Yeah, the first episode. And then
you're almost putting me to sleep.
Really?
Well, it would be better just to see it live to describe it. I think we should just teed it up where we were and left it at that for now.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
well,
I want to tell them the base of the first scene.
Well, but my envisionment is us talking about this so that we can eventually write it instead of having to.
Oh, we can use this as our notes.
Yeah, 100%. You don't think so? You didn't know? I thought that's what we're doing. Anyhow,
whatever.
So then the gist of it is parts of the next couple scenes, we're going to go into pizza places and the person's going to absolutely know who I am and know what my pizza flavoring is. And I'll lose that bet. And then I'll have to wear a dress in the golf. That'll be at the end. And Bobby will say, like, if you knew that they were going to guess, if they were going to guess how much, what kind of pizza, if you knew that you were going to lose this bet, why'd you do it? And then I'm like, well, $10,000 off my dad. I had to try, and on the off case that someone was on vacation, it wasn't there, or something like that. So that's kind of tease up a little bit. Yeah.
I did not realize that's where we were going with the first episode.
What do you mean, like this episode or the episode of the podcast?
No, this or of the TV series. I hope we don't get canceled after the first day. The concept of the show is so good, but don't you think that's a little slow?
Well, I don't.
How about this? I think it's slow material to talk about on a podcast to draw out the whole first scene.
Well, then change the subject.
No, don't be bitter. I'm just saying.
Who says I'm bitter?
I thought you had some more stuff to throw at me.
No, I was going to go over the whole episode of the first.
You were going to keep going? Okay, let's try. Can we quickly try to throw off some other ideas here?
Go ahead.
You can revisit it, but it's dry. We got to pick something else up, don't you think? For now?
I don't know. I thought we talked about dry stuff for the first episode. It turned out well. So
okay, you want to keep talking about the episode?
No. We're pretty close to good on that part of it. Okay. So what else did you have?
Well, I didn't have anything, and now it's almost awkward. It's almost like our relationship's a little bit hurt.
Are we done? We're not friends anymore?
No, we're totally friends, but it's awkward. We just got to build that chemistry back up. I was going to tell a story about chicken fingers. I thought that my story about chicken fingers was kind of going to be exciting. Can I do that? Or I was going to tell how the fact I'm wearing boots in here during the podcast because we have just a couple people listen to us. Now I feel like I'm Hollywood.
Wearing boots. Was that like me with the shaving and like?
I've got shaving and like
got this guy. Get this guy here now. Little back scratcher.
Oh yeah.
Actually go.
What's that for? Your face?
Well, I'm not doing
it up. How about the fact that?
Yeah, because I like doing. I told you I like doing this with the bottom under, right? And now,
you got that.
Anyways.
And this microphone that's sitting right here doesn't have to be on camera, but I thought
not to mention
looks better if it's on. You're not even listening to me.
Oh, because I was
busy doing your flow.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Well, I was going to tell a story about chicken fingers, and I thought it was actually quite.
Let's do it.
Okay, so today before we went on air, I was going to cook chicken fingers, so I put chicken fingers in the oven. Then I went upstairs to work out because I had some time to wait for the chicken fingers. So then I came downstairs to get the chicken fingers, and how disheartened am I to find the chicken fingers are still sitting on top of the freaking oven. I didn't put them in the oven.
And now you think that's better than
30 minutes for chicken fingers and they weren't even ready, so I had to put them in, and then I showered while they were cooking. Because
that's like a Seinfeld episode or something.
I know, but it's fun to talk about. But I had a comment to say after, because then when I started eating the chicken fingers, I was starting to get full because I put a huge amount of chicken fingers in, right? But I'm like, what's your turning point on chicken fingers to how many will you leave left before it's not enough to enjoy on the afternoon? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I have no idea what you're saying.
Okay, so like
a dessert. How many do you have to eat? Hang on. How many do you have to eat, and then you still have 3 or 4 left for dessert? I'm just kidding. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, because I had 8 chicken fingers left, and I was like,
you had 8 chicken fingers left.
Yeah, I cooked like 20. Okay. But that's all I had. I had nothing with it. But here's the thing. So I had like 8 chicken fingers left. But I was still a little bit hungry, but I knew I wanted some for after. So usually 8's the minimum number I leave for myself
Is it?
after 8 it's just a tease. If it's like 7, 6, 5. Point of the story is I had one more chicken finger. So I had 7 chicken fingers left. And now I'm a little bit worried about it. When late night tonight, I feel like chicken fingers. I'm not sure if 7's gonna do it. Does that make
Wow,
sense?
it makes sense to you. To you, it makes sense. I think that's crazy talk, but yeah,
Why? How many would
and
you
that
say?
seems like a
So,
lot. Like 7's a
like
lot.
if you left 3, would that be enough? Or is that just a tease?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because you go to like, if you go to A&W, you only get 3 or 5. So
But who
11,
buys chicken
11 or
fingers at
20.
A&W? No one buys chicken fingers at A&W. You cook your own.
Or you get them at A&W, or
But who gets
out of the restaurant. I think it's more predominant that people eat chicken fingers out at restaurants than they do at home.
really? When you're a grown man and you're home alone, you don't think, why don't I cook some chicken fingers? I have a whole
Well,
group
I'm
of
not saying you
people
don't.
that I work with that would very much say that they eat chicken fingers at home. I've had chicken fingers with 2 different people in the last 3 days. So there's
Like
3 people right there that have had chicken fingers in a house.
that sounds like my German sausage story. So we went to Germany, and
See, look at this segue.
had a guy, the guy that was putting us up, because he was a family friend, he put us up in Germany. Mm-hmm. And we went out, we probably had about 4 sausages throughout this weekend. We went to like a little festival that had sausages. We had a sausage at the late night cart. And at one point, this guy says, I don't understand why people talk about Germany with how many sausages we eat. It doesn't even make sense. And then I didn't even think about it, but then I rethought. We had like 5 sausages in like 2 days. like, what are you talking about? Didn't even think about it until he said that.
You realize you had a ton of sausages.
Yeah, we had to like backtrack and go, wait a second. I've only been in Germany for 3 days and I've had like 8 sausages, and I've been in Europe for 4 weeks, and this is the first time I've eaten sausages. So anyhow, it kind of stems to that. But so to me, yeah, I'm not saying that you wouldn't eat chicken fingers at home. People do eat chicken fingers at home, but I think a good chunk of people eat chicken fingers when they're out, and I think 3 or 5. You don't get like.
I don't think any, but that's it. When you're in a restaurant, you always get sides. When you're at home, you just cook the chicken fingers a lot of the time.
And that's what you mean by, well, it's not kids. So for me, it's like when I go to a restaurant where it's something, I don't know, something I don't particularly like the style of restaurant, because you get your wife and her friends go to kind of exotic-y style restaurants that I'm not sure going to sit well with me. That's when I get chicken fingers.
So at these exotic restaurants, they still have chicken fingers on the menu?
Yeah, like the La Luna, say for instance. I don't know about exotic per se.
La Luna would have chicken fingers? I don't buy that.
La Luna, guarantee they have chicken fingers, 100%. Really? Had it many times at La Luna. Yeah, 100%.
See, look at the energy in this conversation now. Huge.
Don't you think? Because I'm not doing all the whole heavy lifting anymore.
You wanted to do the heavy lifting, and now
no, I thought you were gonna bring, like, when I start talking about the TV show, I thought you'd pipe in and have your stories too, and
well, I didn't think we were gonna go that deep, and I thought we were on the exact same page with the letter. And I thought the pizza, I always thought it was so the letter. I always thought we were going takeout with the pizza. We were delivering it to his house, and you hand delivered it because you were so proud of the sauce.
Fine, that's fine too. Neither, like, there's not big differences in what you're saying.
I know. It's trial and error. We're just working through it. This is like productivity.
I just think more the person comes into the restaurant on account of, like, that makes it more, because that makes the person more flustered, right? Like,
I get it, but what I was thinking was, you didn't know you were going to a high-ranking officials. He opened the door. You're like, oh my goodness, it's this guy, and you're like, I made this pizza sauce just for you. You're gonna love it. You know what I mean? Just hype it so that he would know. Like, he'd be saying stuff like, DS, you're the guy, like, before he got into it, so he would know your name and everything, because he'd be so pumped because he made this sauce for him, and then he got high off it and you got thrown in jail.
Yeah, I see it. Well, see, I see it as
I get how you see it.
why? I'm not even done.
Okay, go.
I see it as scrambling while the guy's there because he's in your restaurant and you're like someone's saying, "Hey, the mayor's at table number 4," right? And that's why there's
Yeah,
hijinks.
and scrambling and grab.
Yeah,
That
because
is good.
I wouldn't be if I was delivering to this house, I would take forever figuring out to make it proper. Right? Whereas this one's like,
100%. You just
oh
see
no,
that's the beauty of this brainstorming. We just came up to a nice civilized
see,
conclusion, right?
see,
See, the relationship's back. We're back, baby.
I didn't think it ever went anywhere.
I thought you mentioned that we were hurt a little bit.
Oh, you did, and I just said, "Oh, is the relationship over?"
I must be jaded. I just think everything's ending.
I don't
you
know. All of a sudden, the podcast is slow for 1 minute, and we're like, end of
That's
the
it. I'm
world for
done.
the Beal. I know Beal's ready to tap out and replace me with somebody.
Hey, I would never replace you. You're irreplaceable. Think
We'll
about how
see.
long we've been together. We can never replace each other.
No, that's
We're in the
sure.
city.
Especially
Even
the
if
way
it
we've
goes a little
talked now.
sour, we'll just bitch about how our relationship soured to other friends.
It's been a long time now that we've been friendly for sure.
For sure.
And
I brought a prop to surprise you with.
Oh, props. Is it converter?
I'm like Carrot Top. I got
Indigo.
a prop. You know who Carrot Top is, right?
Yes, 100%.
He always has props. Or your go-to, who does the watermelons? Gallagher.
My go-to is Gallagher.
He's terrible. You know who Gallagher is, right?
Well, why would you say he's my go-to?
I don't know. It sounded right.
That's a joke. Okay,
but you
sure.
know who Gallagher is, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't. But who both? I love how you're saying you know who, whereas I know, like socially, I normally know almost all of the references.
I know. I don't know why.
You're the one who knows none of them.
Why don't you hold that drink up and show you can be sponsored?
I was thinking of that, but this wasn't the good one. But yeah.
I was gonna jokingly add a thing of all dressed ruffles, and I was jokingly gonna act like
I can't even do it because there you go. Brought to you by Farm Boy. I shouldn't say brought to you by. Maybe future sponsor, Farm Boy Pineapple.
Potentially future sponsor for our 300 viewers.
Because I'm actually I'm trying to not get I'm trying to get off of. Well, I am off of pops now.
Yeah,
they're just killer, right? They're just, you're drinking your calories and they're sweet and it's not good for you. So I've moved on to soda water, and there's not many good soda waters, but this pineapple one's tolerable, and there's others.
You could just drink water that's more than tolerable.
I do drink water, and I like putting grapefruit in the water, but there's sometimes where you like a little bit of flavor too.
Okay, I get it. Okay, can we go?
Yes,
I got Indigo. A funny story. I got it. Are you intrigued? Are you a little bit intrigued?
I'm confused and bewildered.
Well, I'm gonna. What's in here is clearly it's gonna be.
Is it gonna blow my mind? Is it gonna blow my mind?
It's not gonna blow your mind at all, and it's actually kind of ridiculous.
Oh, now it's
but it's kind of a funny backstory.
Now you put it too much into it.
No, it's kind of a funny backstory.
Go.
And I'm gonna read little tidbits during the week and maybe talk about it a little here and there. Not like you're gonna talk about for hours on end about the series.
Oh wow! Oh wow! You mean the series that we created this podcast for?
Yeah, you're right. Okay, am I going to get to this? Okay, I'm not going to get. First, I'm going to tell the first story. So, my friend who recommended this book, we had a text back and forth whether we were going to mention her name or not. And she said, "Why don't we just call me your friend that has too many suggestions?" Because when I was going through she didn't even know I was going to mention this. Anyways, when I was going through my stuff with Emmett, she sent me like breathing and meditation stuff because she's super sweet and cares, right? Anyways, she got me this book. There's a funny story with the book because you read the first 3 things and then you're like, you wonder what she thinks of you because I'm trying to cover up some of the words. So the first thing is calling in the one, right?
Okay.
You see it? You see it?
I see calling in the one, but
calling in the one.
You thought we were in the mud before. I don't know what we're talking about now.
Okay, calling in the one.
Okay, calling in the one.
You know, maybe self-help. What's it going to be, right?
Okay.
So I bought the book. This is me going into the store. Everything's closed at the mall because it's a snow day. So literally,
they've recommended you to buy this book, and you still went out.
My friend has recommended that I buy this book. So I don't know if I'm going to read what's under or the back. I'll read what's under, I think. Anyways,
what's under?
Everything in the mall is closed. Like there's words under that I didn't see. All I saw was she said, "Get the book Calling in the One."
Okay, go.
So I'm like, okay, I'll get the book Calling in the One. So I go in the store with the lady, and I get the book Calling in the One. I think
we got that. We get it. We see that you have the book.
It's the only book that was there. I went online. I should have read up on it.
You've got
Anyways,
the book.
And the whole mall's closed except for Indigo.
The book
Everything
is
else is
in your
gated up.
hand right now. It's there.
Underneath. This is so I don't know. I'm embarrassed. Okay, I'm embarrassed.
No, it's funny.
Because,
why?
okay,
Why,
but I'm embarrassed because I didn't know where.
I
I didn't know where she was going with it. Right? She
Okay.
just said, "Get this book." 7 weeks to attract the love of your life.
So it's like a self-help book.
So that's what she got out of the last podcast is that I'm desperate.
You're desperate as fuck. Sorry to swear again.
So that's funny. That's funny shit, isn't it?
It's funny now, but it took about 20 minutes to get there.
Well, you got to tee it up. I think that was a good little story.
It's good. It's fine.
Anyways, I'm like literally look how red I am now. Like I'm super embarrassed that I brought.
No, that's funny.
I'm super. I almost have to go back to the story.
They're gonna have
someone like tell her it wasn't for me.
She's gonna be hiring someone, private investigator, to just hang out by your house to make sure you're not hanging yourself or something. Is everything okay with Brad? She's calling you every 10 minutes.
This book's basically telling me I'm doing something wrong. Anyways, that's the whole story. So I had to do the tee up because there isn't much of the story.
What do you do with the book now?
I'm going to read it.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Well, because the point of getting it was so that I could talk about it on the podcast. Might as well commit to it.
But sorry. When you got the book, you didn't know what the book was about, even when you bought the book, right?
No.
So you didn't buy the book before the podcast. You bought the book, and then
I bought the book before the podcast. So I knew when I got here, then I saw it underneath, but I didn't want to tell you.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, I wanted to tell the story as it happened to me, right? Like as I discovered it. You know what I'm saying?
Totally get it.
Maybe next Eppy, I'll read a paragraph.
Wouldn't that be charming? I guess it'd be better than that. No, I think we're going back and forth because you're cutting up me trying to talk about our series that everything's about, and you're.
And it's kind of funny.
I'm cutting up you now because you took 20 minutes to get to say that you went to get this book when we had it in your hands. I've got this book, and then you made it sound like, did I have the book? Did I get the book, or didn't I not get the book?
Well, we knew I had the book.
I know.
I think the tee up not showing the bottom part because that's not how I saw it.
It worked in the end.
Good. Yeah, for sure.
I think the moral of the story is most of our bits, both of us are kind of taken off, and then we see where we go, and they go, oh, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, now you know where it's going. Right?
Yeah. And one of the little segments that I want to bring in, so we touched on
back to the series.
No, not the series. Just a segment for the podcast. In fact,
okay,
is a little as we talked about it last episode of how many side hustles I've had and how many jobs I've had.
Oh, yeah, weren't you going to bring 3 to the table?
Yeah, should I go 3? I wasn't sure if I'd do 2 or 3.
Oh, or 2. Just go with whatever.
Okay, so
whatever you're feeling. My back, because of these lights, it keeps going light then dark.
I see that. Yeah, I think it's because your cap, actually, if I'm being honest. But I have no
because
idea.
Of what?
I think because your cap is shading you.
Well, there's a reason I'm wearing the cap so low to cover my eyes because I was up late last night, and that's going to actually be a segment of the show today that we're going to get to, but we can't get to it till near the end.
That's fair.
It's an exciting story too.
Oh, I can't wait.
There's a reason I'm super tired.
That's all good. That sounds interesting.
Can we intrigued?
Can we cut to the good part? No, just joking. You know, have you seen that over social media?
No.
You haven't seen that?
No, I've seen nothing on social media.
Don't you just stream on social media like everyone in the world and see all these people? Yeah.
I don't. The only thing I watch is you send me reels all the time.
Yeah.
And I used to never watch them, but you grill me so much about them that I've watched them all.
The good, yeah. Well, they're good. I just only send you a snippet.
I know you're great. You record them yourself, so they're shorter versions.
Yeah, yes. And like I'm curating your social media, so you should feel good because you can't imagine all the crap that I see.
You're my filter.
Yeah, curating.
Is that the term?
It is. Yeah, curating.
What's the true definition of it? Filtering. Is it filtering?
In essence, yeah, it's to curate, to like take things and make it specific for one person.
Perfect.
I'm gonna have to look it up on the internet now.
I can't believe you just freestyled the dictionary.
And I could be wrong, but it's close to that. It's close to that. Funny enough, I have a decent vocabulary, but I don't read much. So it's strange. I don't know how it happened.
But you just stumbled upon a vocabulary.
Yeah, I think it's from talking to so many people in restaurants and whatnot, right? So,
All
so
right,
yeah,
hit me.
I'll go three. I'll go, and one of them's cheesy. It's life insurance because that's what I started with.
Okay.
One is restaurant server, which Beal still does, and that's one that I always coin back to because some of my friends always joke when we go into restaurants. I'm always telling the server that I used to bartend and serve, just because
One of your go-tos.
it's one of our go-tos, and I still think it's like a community, right? Like if you
100%.
yeah, so it's funny because I think you get it, but like
Yeah.
the people that are friends of ours that aren't servers or haven't served don't understand why I say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a distinct reason why, because as a server, when you're serving someone and they say that they're a server, it lets down tons of guards, right? And you're like, okay,
Oh, and they're likely to not just make more off you, but they can also not swoon over you because you understand what they're going through.
yeah,
Does that
or
make
yeah,
sense? On the floor, right?
they'll
Like
share more with you as well, and they'll banter with
they'll
you.
tell you about what it's like working there, even. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
all that stuff, and
But they'll also, if they're like in a pinch, they can say to you, "I'm just in a pinch. I'll come right back," and you're pretty understanding.
oh,
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah, I mean, one of
That's
the
why I've
most
always kept my foot in the door, just to, work 1 or 2 nights a week to make that extra scratch. But I like the industry. It's too bad it's
actually
getting
look more
rocked.
tan this time, buddy. I look
Who, me?
I do. I look so white the first time. I thought I was
I don't
like,
know. It must be all that sun you're getting there.
yeah, it must be this. Luca want to see me. I know you want to leave. Okay, so and then the other one that I'm gonna put out there that I don't know that you even know that I did, but I worked for a postal, and this will tie back to the series. I worked for
Yeah.
the post office, putting together. Um, I worked at the post office where you sorted things at nighttime, and we had to count out items and put them from one bin to the other one and weigh it. So we
So
were
you were a sorter.
so it was actually for the financial department of the post office. So it was not sorting. It was
Yeah.
actually like checking the sorting basically. So it was like checks and balances. So it was a higher department than what the actual. Does it make sense? Probably doesn't even
It's
make sense.
above sorting. Does that
It's
make
above
sense?
sorting 100%. So we would go down and we would take a bin that was already sorted and put it into another bin, and we'd have to weigh and count each like just bins for no other reason than to kind of like check their work, if in essence, right? So we were
Okay.
kind of like an arm of that, and we worked overnights. So you worked like late at night from 11 at night till 7 in the morning. Um, and what happened is there'd be some Columbia
Oh,
House.
one quick second. So does
Sure.
every job have a story with it? Is that where we're going? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna tell a story, right? Okay.
Oh well,
I'm
not all.
excited to sit back and listen. I just wasn't sure where you were going.
Not
So
those first two jobs, because life insurance is not much of a story other than 75-year-old people trying to get $300,000 worth of insurance.
that's your go-to, eh? When you're
You know
talking
what?
about life stories.
That's not my
Life
go-to.
insurance.
It's my actual life every day.
All
15
right,
of
go on. Sorry.
15 of the 18 people I talk to today or per day are 75-year-old, typically men looking for $300,000 worth of cover. Anyways, that's my hell, not yours. So then the post office, like I said, so there used to be the Columbia House. Remember, you get the Columbia House, you get DVDs, or
And you
you get
get
the
so many things for a penny, right? CDs or whatever.
exactly. So that was a lot at the time. That was a lot. There was lots of people getting that stuff. So
Oh,
part
so this is
of
when you're in the mailroom sorting, right?
yes, yeah. So
Okay.
then, so part of with the golf marshals, one of those jobs will be me doing that sorting.
Yeah.
But I take home one of these because I always wanted to. I never did, but I always thought, oh my goodness, you'd see like the guy had Pearl Jam and Nirvana and like even like rap art, like LL Cool J. He had like a mixture of because you could see actually who they ordered, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
what was in the bundle, and but you think like, oh man, I could just grab this and take this home. I'd have Pearl Jam and I'd have LL Cool J. I'd have all the stuff, right? Um, So in the
you mean steal?
Yeah, so in the series, that's what I will do. I'll actually take it home and steal it, which is
Gotcha.
technically a federal offense because that's why I
Yeah,
didn't do it.
if you steal the mail, which is great.
Yeah, so I mean, I would have thought of stealing it, but like, it's a federal offense. What I actually thought is the stupid part of it is like, I thought, okay, I can't steal it here because it's a federal offense, but I see where the person's mailbox is, so I could show up on the day that it got delivered to the person's house and steal it off of their porch.
Was that your
Like a
actual
porch
thought
pirate.
process?
Yeah. So I'm not going to say whether I did or did not do that because
Oh my goodness,
because
we
it's a
know
federal
the
offense.
answer.
No, I
We
didn't.
know how old were you?
No, I didn't.
How old were you
What are you talking about?
when you had this job?
No, this is I don't know. I was probably about 25.
Or you mean in the series? I thought you meant in real life. There's a 50-50 chance you actually did that.
I am saying that.
Crazy.
Or I might not be saying that. It's
There's
50-50.
no way that you're telling the story that you didn't do it.
But I'm saying that I maybe or may not have, because it's a federal offense. I am not going to say I did or did not do that.
I got you. I get what you're saying.
But the
fact that you
show,
thought it up is wild.
Well, I definitely thought it up when I was working there, right? So that was definitely there. Now, did I follow through? Who knows? I didn't.
That's the story.
Yeah. So that ties in. That's one of the actual. So those are 3 jobs that I've done at least. I'm going to keep track of these myself as I go because it's going to be like a thought experiment for myself.
I keep looking like this, like I can see what you're doing. Do you have notes over there?
I do. I've got some notes.
Let's see.
Wait, that's some of my other notes.
All I can see is palm tree.
Yeah, because it got a.
Okay.
It doesn't work. Doesn't work.
It
doesn't work. It doesn't work. I just wrote down the 3 jobs that I mentioned so that I can take them off the list.
Perfect.
See what I'm saying? So then I can keep.
Do you have anything else there you want to talk about?
And then down the road, we'll have this master monster list of all the jobs, the different vocation, the different styles of work. So it's not only like what I find funny is not only the amount of jobs I had, but the different styles of industries and things that I've worked in.
Yeah, that's part of it.
It's going to be.
Okay. Do we want an Australian Open update from?
We're going that from
day one?
Why you want to go into?
Well, no, we don't have to talk gambling. I just like an Australian Open update.
Wasn't that gambling?
There's big news.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Big news from last night. The reason I didn't sleep.
Okay, let's hear it.
Anyways, no, just Madison Keys and Asian Karetsev were both playing last night.
Oh, the two bets that we're
2 people
about.
I have on the huge parlay.
So the gambling that we're talking about gambling now.
Well, but we don't have to go into it. It's just really what happened in this match because it has no reference to like, did I make money? Did I not make money? Because it doesn't. It's the slow play. Right?
I think we're kind of into the gambling part of our podcast now, anyways.
We might as well be. We've put in some time.
Yep. If you don't like gambling, this is the time to block off.
No, but it's going to be animated. It'll be fun. At least
or
this part,
if you also still
I'm so tired.
Well, if you like us, then you're going to stay anyways. So don't worry. It's not saying. Anyways,
I would like people to not leave because there's still going to be nice conversation, and it's not going to be that long anyways.
Go ahead.
But if you want to shoo them,
that's not necessarily.
You know what?
Case.
I think that eventually we're going to have a team Scott and team Beal, in the fan base.
What, you're going to divide us up already?
We might be rivals. We might be rivals.
Why can't we just be friends?
Well, because I'm trying to spice it up because you've downplayed how
I'm like a lover. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
I know. And the joke is, as I always say, you're super lovable and we don't fight. So.
We haven't even gone to my movie impersonations.
I have been trying to find a way to get you to do an impression that's natural through some sort of thing that I say. If it doesn't happen today, we're going to get to it.
Well, we'll leave that as a cliffhanger. So next episode, watch out for a couple of my movie impersonations. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk the only game. Let's talk the only games that mattered last night in the Australian Open. First game, Madison Keys, who I have on that parlay.
Yep.
Versus 2020 first round of the Australian Open versus the 2020 Australian Open champion and 11th
no.
seed, Sophia Kenin. That's who Madison Keys had to play.
She had a big first
Madison
draw.
Keys, fresh off winning Adelaide, a little bit tired probably to go into this. Madison Keys, 7-6, 7-5 over Sophia Kenin. So we're on to the second round for Madison Keys. I'm not going to say she has a favorable matchup, but I like her match better than I would have if it was some other people.
Well, that's good.
So she's through. Now, match of the night.
Of tonight? Is this the one that I should be gambling on?
No. The other match of the other guy I have on the bet, Asian Karatsev, was against Jamie Munar from Munar, however you pronounce it, from Spain.
And we need both these two guys to come through, right?
We need them to both win the whole tournament.
Right.
It pays out
one on the men's side and one's on the women's side, right?
Yeah. So Madison Keys, obviously the woman, the men. Karatsev, the match started at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. I finished watching the match at 8:21 Eastern Standard Time.
And this is the first round, right?
4 hours and 51 minutes. The match was.
Oh my goodness.
Karatsev, 3-6, 7-6, 6-7, 6-4, 6-4. He was down 2-1 and went 6-4, 6-4 to finish it out.
Wow.
4 hours and 51 minutes.
Did he tucker himself out for the second round?
I don't know. But I watched every point of that match.
I bet.
But I think I dozed off here and there. But I caught the whole start and the whole finish.
Sounds like my dad, who just falls asleep a little bit in his seat all day. So he's in his chair.
Sorry, go on. Go.
No, he's in his chair all day. Well, it's first round. They better get through the first round.
Well, the first round's tough even.
Apparently, but they should get through the first round. You're picking these people. But my dad he sits in his chair and he watches his TV show, and then he just kind of snoozes off throughout the day, probably 15 minutes of every hour. And then at the night, he's like, I couldn't sleep, and I don't understand why I couldn't sleep.
Because he's been sleeping.
Because he's been sleeping all day, yeah, half the day.
All right. Do you want to get talking? What do you want to do? You want to talk some sort of bets, or
no?
What do you want to do?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'd love you to give me something to bet on for tennis.
Okay, I was gonna.
I did bet something today. I bet. I bet Detroit earlier in hockey, and they won. And then I had Chicago Blackhawks against Seattle, and Seattle somehow beat them tonight, which kind of stinks, but that's all right.
Okay, so what I was thinking for the bets now, I want everyone to know I'm not betting because I'm pretty tapped out with all my crap going on, but I'm going to give them to DS and he can do what he wants with them. The only thing is, I don't think these matches have started yet. I picked ones that were later because some matches have already started. I think, yeah, because it's 8:43.
It's okay. I'll look at them.
Okay, and I wanted to pick matches that were close to even money or a bigger payout. Like, it's easy for me to say I'm going to take Zverev over someone that pays 10 bucks on 100. You know what I mean?
I mean, my hope is that you're taking a favorite, but someone who's just a little favorite.
Yeah, and I took one guy that's not a favorite, but he's just a little underdog. You know what I mean? So I went with a local boy, Alexei Popyrin. He pays 230 over Arthur Riddenrich.
Oh, there's so much tennis. How do I even find this guy?
Did you find him?
No.
Anyways, you got him. Can I give you the other one?
Yeah, you keep mentioning it, and I'll find it after the fact, I think.
Okay, Popyrin, and we'll do it when we're offline. And then Anastasia Sevastova.
Okay.
Over Magna Linette. It pays 180. So it's almost even money. So those are my two go-tos for you.
Okay, they're tomorrow. I see. That's why. One says tomorrow.
No, they're tomorrow. They're tonight, but they're tomorrow as in they're after.
Yeah, midnight. Late night, whatever. Popyrin, I see 220, right?
Yeah.
And who's the other one?
I had him at 230. Sevastova. Women's.
Women's. That's why, probably. I don't know if this is women's. We'll figure it out. Okay, good. I'll probably put a little unit or two on that. As I like to say in the gambling industry, the units. The trouble, of course, like we say for tennis, it's almost better to play tennis, right?
It is better. Like,
which
I
is
don't like doing it
challenging
this way,
for.
but I know you sometimes like to make a bet, go to sleep, and see the result in the morning.
I
Right?
definitely love doing that. Definitely do love doing that. But and yeah, we'll put something on that, and maybe we'll figure a way where we can actually do some live game, like one podcast that's where we're just actually in play watching.
Well, that could be fun too.
Yeah, something
So
down the road.
that's it for me.
Now,
I don't know what you
now that we've
got.
squashed the whole podcast by not being able to talk about the show that
No, we
we're
can talk about it. I just don't want to draw out the whole script because it'll be funnier when you see it than if you just hear about it. You know, ideas
but
is
we're not going to like my thought is us talking about the TV script, and then sure, whoever's listening to this podcast now, when they see it, they actually were coming around for the whole ride. The people that are going to see it, if it ever gets to fruition, who don't know us, that don't know the podcast, it doesn't much matter to you anyways, right? See what I'm
true.
saying? They will have never seen it, our podcast.
We'll see. We'll see if people like hearing about it or not.
Yeah, well, I guess.
We got to do what people want to do, or we're just talking to each other then. Otherwise,
100%.
right?
I would agree, but 100%. But
and we're not going to get that Ruffles sponsorship.
that Ruffles or Farm Boy.
Yeah.
Farm Boy.
So I'm good. What are you saying? Do you have anything more you want to say?
Pineapple juice of pineapple soda. No, I wasn't talking about sponsor. Mine is if we don't talk about the show, then we don't develop the show.
I get it. I want to talk about the show. I just don't want to kill people with the show.
That's fair, I guess. That's why we did a little bit.
Exactly. A tease. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm good. Are you good? Like, if you have anything you want to say?
100% good. No, I would say one thing I'd like to say is thanks so much for people who have subscribed and listened. I mean, I know both of us are kind of, we don't have it's not like we have a ton of people, but it's more than we thought would actually be paying attention to us so far. And, definitely subscribe if you can. That's great. Let's see where this goes. Little by little, we'll probably grow and grow, we hope. And we'd love to hear comments, especially from people we don't know. I mean, we love to hear comments from the people we know as well. But we assume that there's some people that don't know us that are listening in, and we'd love to hear comments from them just to get a unbiased view. Because
and Raheem, no more trash talking.
I wasn't gonna go there. Like, trash us if you want. That's part of the fun. I mean,
we'll take it.
We'll trash each other as much as you're gonna trash us, probably. But we welcome comments below, and especially from people that we don't know. And also, I think we're gonna work on trying to get it so that this is something you can listen to even through like Apple Music or.
Well, we might figure that out once we get off the air.
Yeah, we're gonna work to try and figure that out so that's not just a YouTube channel. It's multifaceted.
Yeah, let's get it going. Good? I mean, we got a bit of free time, so I'd love to do it while we have.
Yeah, we enjoy chatting with each other, and we get and now
we chat every day on the phone like this, anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now we're
just a funny thing to say that we always bicker about whenever you start talking about stuff. I say, don't talk about it. Let's do it.
I know it's ruined our off-air relationship.
It's kind of killed our so our relationship is a little bit frayed because we've heard we can't talk about it.
I don't think I don't see it as such, but yeah, if you think so. I think we're growing strong. I'm more worried about upsetting you talking about the series that we're supposed to be creating.
No, we'll keep talking about it. I do love it.
Forget it. Let's not talk about the series we're creating.
I just think it makes for good listening.
I get what you're saying.
If we're going back at each other a bit too.
Oh, and I have no idea whether people like that or don't like it, but
maybe we'll find out.
Part of it is going to be, as I said, the idea is fleshing out these ideas so that we have a series to put together.
Yeah. Oh, can I make a quick little shout out to this little picture to the right there?
Yeah, I actually was going to mention that one time too.
So that thing I've had since Talia was 3. When she was in daycare, her and 2 other kids did this, but she did the most of it. I caught wind of that from someone that ran the daycare. They said they were auctioning this thing off, and they said, you might want to get that because Talia did it. So they were doing a silent auction. I wasn't going to be there picking her up. Holly was picking her up that night. So I asked the lady, I said, can you just, whatever the last bid is, add $20 to it and put my name on it? And she was sweet enough that she did it. So that painting actually cost me $100. And I've had it for 9 years now, 9.5 years or whatever. Well, so it's warped and stuff. it's the only thing I have on my wall right now. Like I moved in here in a pinch and I haven't really organized anything, but that thing goes wherever I go. So
And one of the funny things I like to say is, who put that up there? I did.
oh, you
I don't know if you remember.
and I would.
I loved it when I
So
saw. I helped you move in there, and I
yeah, well,
saw that
DS
for the
did
first time.
everything.
I saw that for the first time and said, "This is awesome. It's cool," and especially when you said it was T that did it, and
Yeah.
then we didn't know we didn't even think about it. And I said, "Yeah, it'd be perfect right here. Look at this spot," because I mean, you can't really see, but that's pretty much the length of that wall. So
Yeah.
after that picture goes kind of towards where the TV is.
It's good. It juts in and
So
out.
you do
The
have
TV,
TVs, by the way.
which
He just has it in his room.
which DS helped me put up. I mean, like,
Oh
you
yeah, I
want to
remember
talk about
that.
an instrumental guy? I moved into this place as the only guy. It was just him and I. We did it all. That's how good of a guy he is. Anyways, and he
Well, the
donated
worst
and
part is we're
helped and hooked
driving
up.
from
And
Stratford to
we were between Stratford, Hamilton, and
Hamilton
Georgetown.
and
So we were
Georgetown.
up to an hour and a half away to an hour away to here. So we were, and he was using his car. I was using the truck, right? I think
Yeah.
we were using everything. We did a few trips, but we ended up having a.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I drive. I don't know if I'll drive behind you ever again. That's not up in.
why?
I can't remember what I didn't like about. Oh, because I remember you don't do cruise control.
Oh yeah, it drove DS
Drives me
crazy
nuts.
that I won't do cruise control because then my pace is inconsistent.
So inconsistent.
I never thought.
So I'm
I
on
didn't
cruise
think people
control and I
use
just
cruise.
hit it like 80 or 85, and you're going. And sometimes I have to brake, and sometimes I have to go, and sometimes I have to brake, because Beal's just ahead of me going like on the brakes, and we're driving for 2.5 hours, and he's not cruise controlling ever.
I did not think someone was as heavy into cruise control as.
Well, I don't understand. I don't think you understand what cruise control is.
I do, but I did. For me, I'm tired a lot. I find if I'm using cruise control, I can drift. I can drift. But okay, one more thing.
That's a different story, I'm sure.
Before we sign off, why don't you talk about when we were finding all those routes that weren't on the highway?
Oh, we'll save that for next time.
Okay. Teaser. Okay, we'll talk routes next time.
Next. Okay. Yeah, we gotta leave some.
I'm good. Do you want to sign us off today?
What is our sign off? Well, I think it's
thanks for listening, and we're out basically. How do you want to do it?
I don't know. We're gonna have to work on that, I guess, eh?
Well, we are. It's a work in progress, apparently. Well, don't you say thanks for tuning in? Don't you?
Well, definitely thanks for tuning in. As we said, thanks so much for listening. Hopefully you subscribe if you can down below. And we're hoping to get out at least once per week, and probably twice per week would be my hope. But we might run out of things to talk about.
I'm good with one at least.
See, I knew you wouldn't like the two, but one a week for sure if we can. And we welcome all comments, and we're super happy that you guys, the positive comments that we did get.
100%.
All right. So we'll see you next time.
Cheers.